Say the Denver Broncos have a 17% chance of winning the Super Bowl. Now the ESPN Power Panel also making its prediction for who will win said Super Bowl this season. They agree. Denver Broncos will win the championship. Does Stephen A. Smith agree? We addressed it at the top of the show. We want you to weigh in, kind sir.
Well, I don't agree with it. And I know that I'm sitting here and, I picked Aaron Rodgers, as a probable pick for the NFL MVP. And, somebody like Skip, the duplicitous Skip Bayless with his slick self, will sit there and take it as if I'm knocking one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history in Peyton Manning, which I am not doing. But when we talk about the Broncos being the pick to win the Super Bowl, I'm sorry, I don't see them being better than the New England Patriots. I really, really don't. Despite the plethora of injuries to Gronkowski, to Danny Amendola, Wes Welker departing so Amendola could ultimately come on board, figuring things out at receiver with Kimbrell Tompkins and all of these guys. I'm just looking at the New England Patriots, and they still finished as the third highest scoring team in the NFL last year, averaging more than 27 points per game. Well, who do they have coming back here? They're loaded at the receiver spot with these boys. You've got Ridley and Vereen at your running back spot, and hopefully Ridley's he won't have fumbleitis this time around. You still have one of the great quarterbacks in the game in Tom Brady. You still have what the polls say is the best coach in the game in Bill Belichick. You got Vince Wilfork coming back on defense, along with Jared Mayo, along with adding Darrelle Revis to the secondary to replace Aqib Talib, which a lot of people would perceive as being an upgrade. I just look at the New England Patriots, who were in the AFC Championship game last year against Denver, and I say this same franchise that's been devoid of a Super Bowl championship since 2004, which is now 10 years, I think they'll probably do. And I think I could see the New England Patriots coming out of the AFC. I certainly don't view Denver as the team to knock them off. Regardless of Peyton Manning and his greatness, the acquisition of Emmanuel Sanders, still having the Thomases in tow, Monte Ball, in some people's eyes anyway, will be perceived as an upgrade from Noshawn Moreno. I just see the New England Patriots being better because I think they're better coached. And dare I say right now, I just believe they have more heart. And I believe that I think if the pieces are in place and they're healthy, they're the pick out of the AFC and not Denver.
And obviously we know that the best overall quarterback in all of pro football resides in Foxborough, that he's a Patriot. Yes, we do.
No, but he is the best dressed. He is the best dressed.
Yeah,
he has
this
blazer
stuff. Okay, I got it.
He has. Okay. No, I don't wait. It's not his stuff. It's not his.
I completely concur that you've finally seen the light, and I agree with every point that you just made about the New England Patriots. Now, what about those guys up in Seattle? Shouldn't they be a little offended that the team what are all your words that you use for that game? They got punked, bum rushed, ramrodded. Seattle did that to the Denver Broncos, and now we have two respected simulations, and we have a consensus of 80 ESPN expert picks saying that Denver is going to do something that hasn't been done in 40 years. Think about this. And as I said at the top of the show, I'm not big on historical stats, but this one I'm taking to my bank, Mr. Smith. It's been 40 years since the Miami Dolphins lost to my Dallas Cowboys in 1971 in the Super Bowl and came back after the 72 season and beat the Washington Redskins in the Super Bowl. Hasn't happened again. We just saw it happen in the NBA, but that's a special team. That's the Spurs. But in the NFL, 40 years. So now we're saying that everybody is picking Denver to break a 40-year drought. And to get back because of what? I need somebody to explain the what to me here because I can't see the what. That defense last year in Denver ranked 22nd in points allowed. So you lost a lot of what I thought were pretty valuable cogs off that defense in DRC, Wesley Woodyard, Sean Phillips, Robert Ayers, Mike Adams, Paris Lennon. These are all decent football players. They're all gone. And you added a guy, again, DeMarcus Ware. I love him off the field. He just doesn't make enough plays. Is he going to change the face of that defense and suddenly make it an elite defense? I don't see it. You know my feelings on Aqib Talib. He's never there when you really, really need him. And at the back end, Okay, I'll give you T.J. Ward. I think he's a really good football player, and that's a big upgrade in at their safety spot.
At the safety spot, yes.
Fine. Okay, all well and good. But then I think it boils down to schedule or lack thereof schedule. And you're telling me that Denver's schedule is a cakewalk when they have to go to Seattle, they have to go back to New England as they did last year.
They opened the season against Luck.
Okay, you got it. Well, that's true. They get that game's in. I think it's in Denver, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is. It's in Denver. Then they have to go to Cincinnati. They obviously have to go to San Diego, and they have to go to Kansas City. And remember, San Diego is coming. San Diego played 3 close games against Denver last year and beat them in Week 15 in Denver. So you don't think that they can play Denver close games and maybe beat them a couple times this year? I think they do. So could Denver lose 5 of those games at home? They got San Francisco and Arizona. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm seeing a 13-3 that would give them home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And I think that's what the experts are saying, that, oh, well, they're just going to have a cakewalk through the playoffs in the mile-high atmosphere. I'm not seeing that. So I don't get how can you say they're better than Seattle? Seattle looks even better than it looked at this point last year.
Well, don't say you. Talk to those experts that that picked them. I'm not saying any of these teams are better than Seattle. I'm not saying Denver or New England would beat Seattle. I'm just saying that before we talk about the Broncos going back to the Super Bowl and winning, don't we need to talk about them getting out of the AFC? And when it comes to them getting out of the AFC, I'm looking at New England instead of Denver. But I obviously give Seattle an edge. And here's the biggest reason why I give Seattle the edge, Skip. It's not just because their defense, but it's a point that I think you and others made a little over a week ago when you talked about them being in the Pacific Northwest, not getting the pub, the acclaim, and everything else that comes along with capturing a championship. And, the Legion of Boom and all of that stuff. And so there's something about them that, they carry the figurative, chip on their shoulder. And they carry it with them all the time. And I look at them and I say, hey, I love that about them because I think that's what a champion's got to have. And I think they have it. I really do.
I agree.
You do?
Yes, I do.
He's a wise man.
Agreed,
finally.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, wise one, Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, wise one, Stephen A. Smith.
He sees all about the National Football League.
Well,
hey, that's why they call me. Hey, my nickname in college was Saul. That's what they called me, the wise man.
That's true.
There you have it, folks. Saul has spoken. At the end of the